Yo, yo, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? What's going on, peoples? My friends, my people, my team. Hey, happy Thursday. Happy Thursday, man. Hopefully everybody is doing well. We got things to do, man. Things to do. We got officially, the kind of kiss your sister open on the market. So we'll have to be a little bit careful today. This gap kind of ruins some of the fun, but that's okay. There's always a little bit of fun to be had, if you know what I mean. So let's get into this. Whoop, whoop, whoop. All right. Hold on here 1 second. All right. We're in the game, peoples. We are in the game behind the game. All right. Cool. I'm in. Hey. Let's get to work, people, man. We got a lot of stuff to do. So what I mean by we got to kiss your sister open is that we got that huge nasty down day yesterday. And we probably needed a gap down today to get long. We have now a little bit of a decent spike up. 0.75% is nothing to scoff at. That's about half the market's ATR. And so usually when you get a gap like that, it does suck out some of the plays, and we're seeing it. The hot setups that I thought would have been for today, something like a Meta or something like that, right? You're already, gapping up 10 points. It still has more ATR, but we have to be a little bit more careful now, because once the ATR, when you get such a nasty, nasty fall, you really want that gap down to stretch out that rubber band just the last bit. So we'll see what's going on today. But let's take a look at the QQQs. Hey, Zaman, what's up, baby? Let's take a look at the QQQ. So you can see here, like now we've got a little bit of resistance right up around here. And that's where we're going to have to be careful. We are getting a little, I wouldn't say oversold because we just had 1 day, down day. But we are in a weird spot where we're not really at support. We're not really at resistance. And so there's going to be, I believe, probably some fluctuations that need to happen. So if we look at an hourly chart here, we have a couple things here that I think we can maybe run into and that we want to be prepared for. So number one, we have, obviously this area from here, which is your gap fill, right? So if the market itself kind of sucks itself into this zone, then we'll have a little bit of upside, and then we can make a decision once we get, into this gap. And so I think the first target, if the market's going to bounce, is to kind of come in and play this thing, not into the gap fill per se, but into the top of the gap. And then we'll see kind of what happens, right? Because I think that might be a little bit of resistance, and then, so on and so forth. Now, traditionally, and I think this is important to just always remember, traditionally in this stage of the market, which has been happening since, let's just call this, right, end of November, traditionally, when we've had these kind of, let's say, 3 to 4 day down day kind of dips here, we've been getting bought up. And, it looked kind of very nasty even here. You get kind of 3 nasty days and you're like, this market's so overbought. It's got to do something, right? And then, it got bought back up. And so, we're experiencing something along that end here. Now it looks slightly different because we had the nasty day and a couple hangout days and a nasty day again. But this is something to just kind of keep mind of as we're watching. We've had these kind of dip days here. April is probably, the clearest one, where it's like, okay, got real nasty, and then boom, you were right back at it. And so we have to always kind of keep that into the mind. The primary trend is the primary trend, right? And when you have that going, you still got to respect it. Now, some of this action, right, is because obviously the IWM finally broke out, right? And so when IWM finally broke out, that also put some sell pressure on because people got to reposition their portfolios. They got to reposition also just their thinking, right? In terms of, hey, we've only been longing big cap tech for 2 years plus, right? And while this has been stuck in range. And so now that this is broken out and we have really kind of the all-time highs right in the cards, you're about 20 points away, so about 10%, and it can get there fast. What we've seen is, right, these kind of markets, they can get there in weeks, right? Days, weeks. So we'll have that kind of also brewing. We'll have that kind of also brewing too. Now, this IWM itself is, of course, a focus, but we had a topping tail on it yesterday, a short-term topping tail, and we'll have a subsequent kind of a week open on this. It's probably got to pull back close to the 9 EMA. The 9 EMA will catch up on it in a couple days, even if it goes back sideways like this for a couple days. The 9 EMA at its current ascent, maybe it's moving up, say, $1 a day. So if you go sideways 2-3 days, this will be it, 216, 217, 218, 219 in 3 days anyways. And so you can kind of back and fill that area, and that'll allow for the market to kind of tighten up a little bit. And then we can really see if this IWM is, if this breakout is for real. One thing that does make me think we may need to take a slight breather too is that, the T2108 indicator, that's your indicator that we use as a measure of market breadth. And what you can see on this is, right, you're going from 27 to 70, and really anything over 80 is considered extreme overbought. But it usually takes like time to get there. Like it could take months to really get there. And we've almost gotten there in a handful of days. And so this we do need to pull back a little bit and kind of relieve the tension on this. Like you don't want to slam the market breadth into 80 too quickly. Otherwise, you'll get a pullback before you know it. And so we don't want to even get into that. So we do need to take a little bit of a breather for a couple days. I think that's going to be a good thing. Let the IWM, I think the play is to do, let the IWM pull back, and then, selectively some of these oversold tech stocks, we could try to bounce them for today, right? And so, of course, we've got the Meta Nation, which is, a confirmed rubber band long. It was 540. You got down to 460. Some of the drop was because I think at the convention, the Tremster was like, I love TikTok. TikTok is fantastic. It's great people. And so you got a little bit of a sell pressure in Meta, but that's usually going to be probably short-lived. These things are often one-off events. So I think we can, we could put this on the watch list. I wish it didn't gap up 9 points. I want that 9 points, right? But hey, man, we got to do what we got to do. Good. Tobias, what are you watching, baby? Jordan, where were you? How you been, buddy? Hey, Jordan, yeah, we got to catch up this week. I got to see what you've been up to. At least I got to see how you're working on your business plan, whatever trade you're doing, whatever. We catch up. You call me this week. Good. Let's see what we got here. And you can see I was hoping for, look, if we had the gap down in NVDA at the 50-day moving average, we would have been printing some cash, I think. You were at 138. You pulled back to 118, so 20 points. It did touch the lower Bollinger Band and pierce through. You got oversold stochastics. But I was really hoping for this 50. We may bounce for a couple of days and then kind of back and fill that area before we get there. And if you start to see on some of these semiconductors, and we never see these things till after the fact, but we do want to kind of just be mindful. If you didn't know this was a semiconductor, right? Say this was Chipotle or something, right? What would you say? That this is kind of a longer term topping, right, pattern, right? It's like a little bit of a longer term topping pattern. If you didn't know this ticker, right, you would say like that's, a head and shoulders or a topping pattern of some sort. And what I mean by topping patterns doesn't mean they're like in a crash or anything like that, but means that you could experience months and months of consolidation, of range, of chop, of also downtrend. So if you look at this, right, and you didn't know the ticker, you would not say like it's a good looking stock, right? If you look at Dell and you look at this chart and you take away this watermark, right? And you don't know that it's Dell, what you'll start to see is that it's a little bit of a topping pattern, right? And so we got to always kind of keep that, into the back of, our heads here. Like if you didn't know this, then you would not say this is like some hot stock, right? If you saw SMCI, right, you'd say like, yeah, this is kind of a longer term, right, topping pattern. All the spikes are getting faded off. You got failed breakouts, right? Moving averages are not holding. So you would say that's kind of a longer term topping out pattern. And so we want to be just careful of, that, right? When we're looking at some of these things. And, more Dell and MU look the worst out of them. But, like even AMD, this is a failed breakout now, right? So when you see this, it's like, okay, you had this breakout. And theoretically, based on, previous moves and price action and stuff like that, right? You should have at least, we should have gotten a fairly good pop into it, and it should have probably held at the 9 EMA, and then we would have had some subsequent right move. But instead, right, we bounced through, and it was nasty yesterday, by the way. Look at the candle on this. I think that's where we got to be just really careful. So I think probably this bounces today because you're a little bit extended to the downside. You went from 190 down to 160, right? But the pattern itself is broken. And so we're just entering a long period of consolidation, and we've been in the long period of consolidation, right? This has been happening right since March or so, and similar, right? AMU, it's been doing this for a little bit of time, right? It's been just stuck at the same. If you really look, is at 130 in April, and it was at 130 in June. And then it had 4 days of run up, and then it's just been back at sitting at the 180. So 130. So just kind of keep that into the mind. This ALAB is probably, if the IWM picks up, maybe this will do something. This is also like because they went IPO when the semiconductor market was just that red hot, and it hasn't been now. And so probably this company is a little bit of a 30 McGee, and now it's starting to digest, and it might just need a catalyst. Its earnings will be out in a couple of weeks. Jordan, what are you watching today, baby? Amanda, what are you getting? Let me see this sound. Hey, Mr. Ken, how are you, sir? Hey, so this sound hound is not so bad, right? So if you got this big push from 3 to 6, now you're consolidating, you're kind of congealing right on that 9 EMA. It did have a little bit of a spike and fade yesterday, which I don't like. But that could have been just with the times of, what was happening in the market. So do be mindful. You don't want to see this. But if you look at this specific action, like see how it like popped up and rolled over like that? The IWM did the exact same thing, right? So it may have just been following the IWM. Hey, IWM rolled over, this one rolls over, kind of thing. I think as long as it holds the 9 EMA, you should be fine. It's not my type of play because it, usually only likes to, move on PRs and stuff like that. Interesting. Yeah, TSM did have earnings out. Look at this bad boy. Yeah, so this earnings came out. Let's see what they're looking like here. Let's see if we can get a little gander. TSM. Hold on here. Let's take a look. All right. So, need number 2 reiterates buying Taiwan Semiconductor maintains 210 price target. Taiwan Semiconductor shares trying to call. Oh, there it is. Taiwan Semiconductor expects revenue of 22 billion, verse 22, gross margin 53%, blah, blah, blah. Let's see what else they say. Analyst says, due to inability to meet Apple's high quality, the new iPhone will not use them. Blah, blah. TSC says, wafers. All right, so these earnings are out. Now, look, the earnings are out on this, and it looks like they probably did a little bit of small beat or whatever. This one, you'll have to be careful on because the Trumpster, if you saw in the, in the PRs, the Trumpster said like, hey, the Taiwanese are basically right out on their own. So, the big thing with this was right that they, are supposed to get some kind of backing from the United States, and that's not that may not happen. Boom, 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 boom. They're banging out some money over here. Not much of a reaction. So we'll see how this acts. It's kind of gapping up in the middle of no man's land. Look, if it takes out the 9 EMA here, then, let's see if we get a little bit of a push back in. I'm wondering if it's probably just the wrong time for this one. You can see NVDA starting to pop through. So it's lifting up the whole sector slightly, but not a crazy reaction yet. So I don't think, we got much to do on these semis just yet. Let's take a look at the gappers. Let's see what other kind of earnings plays we've got. We're starting to pick up a little bit on that front. Yeah, we're starting to pick up a little bit on that front. What are we on, the 18th today? Yeah. Boom, 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 boom. TXT. TSN. Nokia, Walgreens. Yeah, so nothing too crazy here. All right. Hey, Zap. This stock is probably just a nasty, nasty little company. But for the moment, it is having its moment, right? It's having its moment in the spotlight. And you are starting to get in. If you start to see, right, this tighten up here, and then maybe even today, I would not be necessarily opposed to playing this. I know Armando and some of the boys, they put it up the pooper on this one on a couple days ago. It trades pretty good, and it's got more than enough liquidity. It's doing 10, 15 million shares a day. I think you can roll with it, frankly. You can roll with it. WBD, Warner Brothers. Man, I see this is up too many days in a row. Info system. Yeah, that's an Indian company that just moves on gaps. Okay, here. Pod stocks are also popping, but you can see here, you got a little bit of play in them. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think? They kind of look like duds. Zaman, I think we could do that too. Let's take a look at that in a second. Look at SMARS pulling back to the 9 EMA, but still too extended. All right, so not that much on the earnings front. Let's take a look and see what else we got here on the PRs. All right, so 8:30 jobless claims, Philadelphia Fed manufacturing index, blah, blah, blah. You got a couple Fed speakers today. I think, yeah, Miss Bowman's at night. The other two really don't do anything. So I wouldn't worry too much about these guys. Hold on here. Get my creams on. Okay, we are in the game. Freshen up a little bit there. Jobless claims, blah, blah, blah. Crude, not much action. Gold, a little bit of action. You know, gold's a big breakout. You may want to toss some of that in an IRA or something like that. Buying up that for the last couple months. Pre-market movers, you got some penny stocks going here. What else? What else? Junk. Any good upgrades? ELF? Let's take a look. We got ELF and VFC. ELF looks, man, that's a broken chart too, huh? Let me see VFC. That moves okay. You know, that one's actually got a little bit of a better breakout on it. Let's add, I think we can add that. Top initiations. Oxy, MPC, interesting. So we got some oil companies all over. PYPR. Okay. There we go. So we got top earnings for the week, ASML. That shit the bed yesterday. Schwab and Netflix is, I think, in the afternoon. Yeah, the big tech ones never come in the morning. They always go in the afternoon. You get these. You know, one thing you can do too is like, for those of you guys that use T1000, just highlight these, right-click them, copy it, and then you can paste them into TC1000, and you'll get a whole list of all. You know, you'll have them in your T1000. You can flip through them really, really quickly. That's what I usually like to do at night. You can see here. You see, got ISRG and Netflix in the afternoon. You got UAL. Airlines suck the trade. It's actually reacting okay, but airlines suck the trade. So nothing special yet. You know, we're not in the good part of the earnings season just yet. Okay. Now, so not much on the gapper side. Let's look on the downside here. We got some biotechs that are shit in the bed. Domino's Pizza. Look at this. Earnings, revenue. How are they always making money, huh? Domino's Pizza is disgusting. Revenue for the quarter was compared to 1.1. It's like been you know, you always think it's like the hot tech stock would be like the hottest company of the last so many years, but it's like since I could, this fucking Domino's Pizza, look at that fucking thing. Yeah, you always think it's gonna be like some like little techie stock, and you know, really one of the hottest companies of the last decade was this Domino's Pizza. That pizza's disgusting. Look, this doesn't have much liquidity, but it's going to have some sick range on it. Like I would not be opposed to trading this. I'm adding it. BYND's got earnings out, I believe. Oh no, Beyond engages Bonhor for balance sheet restructuring. Shale Singh. Hey, balance sheet restructuring. You know what that usually means? They going bankrupt. Balance sheet restructuring usually means a little thing that we like to call bankrupt. Gringo, yeah. Yeah, Ethereum's taking Ethereum itself is not taking a shitter. The Ethereum Trust is taking a shitter. I think because those Ethereum ETFs. Boom. Chunk. Okay. Not much on the earnings side just yet. We'll keep an eye on this. Let's take a look at some of the stocks that I like for today. Top of the list is the coins, all right? It held up the best yesterday. You got 1 test, 2 tests, 3 tests. It's got pretty damn good range. The range on this has been incredible yesterday. You know, off the dips, it was popping 10 points, and then it dumped 15 points, and it popped back 10 points. I mean, that's what you want to see. So if you look from here, the opening dip was at 245. It runs at 255. And then, bam, comes all the way back down, pops 10 points, drops 15 points, pops 10 points. back and forth to move 40 damn points yesterday. I mean, that's some good God-fearing Christian range right there. That's not bad. Like, that's where we want to be. So let's add this one. For it to have a big breakout, it's going to need to tighten up here. But it's still going to have good range and just get this thing going. I do like run. I was trying to add some of this yesterday. This is that I would consider this an inside day. So what an inside day is, right? You have a big trending day, and this, it had an upgrade from, I believe, JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs. Oh, yeah, JP Morgan. Raised the price target 19 from 14. So I kind of put a little goose in its pepper. And now you have an inside day. So you got that tight ranging day, and I got a flat open on this thing too. This is like, that's prime time. You know what I mean? That's prime time. Oh yeah. So we want to be a part of this one. We want to get a little saucy with this thing. Let's add it. Motherfucker. Yeah, let's add this thing too. Good. All run. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Yeah, I'll run. Let's add that. ENPH is okay. I think runs a little slightly better. Yeah, let's keep an eye on the run. That's probably the best one out of the group. PLTS, let me just mention this one. It looks okay. I think so. You got a little bit of a consolidation here. This is not an epic setup. I would give it a C- or something. Not C-, C+. Let's not. If the market goes, it's got a chance. The daily chart is still awesome. It's more, does it need like a little bit more congealment, or is this enough? Hard to tell, right? The stock only moves about $1 a day. So you do got to be careful on that aspect of things too. I think we keep it. So we got run, we got PLTR, we've got old coin. And then let's take a look here. So Mara had a little bit of a topping, a little bit of a doji candle or whatever you might be. Overall, it held support, so I wouldn't read too much into it. It's probably just tightening up here. Frankly, I think the location is fine. We want to still be just watching. If it starts dipping into these supports, we want to try to start snagging these for the run. Riot, same setup. You had this kind of doji candle that's like popped up, faded off, but then it ramped it back. Now you got this nice open. So I think all three of these you want to keep. They held up pretty well yesterday, and the range is pretty sick. Like they rolled the heck over, and then they got bought up into the close. And that's what you want to see, right? You want to see a little bit of that. Yeah, you definitely want to see a little bit of that. TSM's holding up okay. Let me see CSU. Yeah. It's a very low ATR for $40 stock. That would be my worry on it. Let's see if there's anything else getting goosey here. This one looks okay. ENPH. Yeah, you got a flag right here if it comes out of this, and then it remounts this. So I think we add this one too. And then Nova, look at this thing. That's hot. So you got this big bottoming play, and then you got the tightening up. It looks a little bit like a run. So we want to be in the Nova game. And then SATIG also is tightening up here. You can see, so it had a couple upgrades a couple days ago, and now it's been tightening up here. And so it's got to break one way or another. But this is going to be an interesting spot. Like if we can kind of get this thing pushing through, to the upside here, then, it's a low float. It's 41 million shares. Like you're going to get this thing, rocking and rolling to 31, 32 really quickly. But look, it's 50-day moving average, not till 40. So you've got all sorts of room. So you've got flags on all of these. SC is probably a little bit too slow. And then look, the Shoals is like, right? That's tighter than a goose's caboose right there. Not that I would know. Ooh, look at this thing. You got kind of just nuzzling, right? It's just kind of nuzzling, right? Just nuzzling under that 50-day moving average. It's not bad. You got run, SATIG, Shoals. All right. Dude, we're partying. Run. I think that's going to be 6 Windowsy. Ooh, it was a juicy stock for yesterday too. Keep an eye on. It had 2 PCPI. I believe it had earnings out and some contracts. This thing is nice, real nice. It's actually moving around pretty well. It did 11 million shares volume. You see here, you got the dips down. The range was good. Every time it was dipping down, it was popping a couple dollars. I think you can roll with it. HE, I'm not sure. That's not really mine. I don't know what I would do with it. Good. All right, so let's tighten up this list. So we got run. I want you to put Shoals, SATIG, EMPH, right on the solar side of things. All right, then we got some cryptos. All right. We got some cryptos. I want you to add coins. We want to add Mara, the marination of Mara. Heck yeah. So we want to add this Mara. I want to go a little CLS cake. That's a buenos. That's a buenos. And then on the secondary side, right, watch this TSM. If it fades off, then it's not going to be, it won't be a buenos. Now, it may not fade off, right? Like, it's opening up decent. It's up 5 points. It's got good range on it. But I think we do want to trade this bad boy at some point. This will be a little bit more of a read and react. If it rips through this gap, it's going to take all the semiconductors up with it. So then you're going to need to get on, the NVDA train and all of that kind of stuff. Yo, KG, Meta I have on the list. I wish it didn't gap up so much, but I think, we want to watch and see. We want to see if it can hold. Yeah, I'd watch it to see how it reacts around the first pullback, and I think then we'll get an idea. Namara Nation, TSM. Good. That's the list. I'm sticking to it. That's the list. I'm sticking to it. What are we missing? All right. I think we got it. Yeah, Joe, you could do that one too. A little slow on my taste. I think it just lacks the ATR, but I see it. Good. That's the list. What else we got? Anything? Heck yeah. Then let's go do the Lord's work today. Guys, I'm making the Discord room. I'm making the Zoom link.